A very warm welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are in good. Today is 21st August 2020. I would like to start today's discussion with this quote by Dale Carnegie. Our fatigue is often caused not by work, but by worry, frustration, and resentment. Dear friends, whenever you find time, please make sure that you go through a book by Dale Carnegie. The name of the book is How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. This book will create a positive change in your life for sure, and that's my guarantee. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ team has designed a smart course. This smart course is for Civil Services Examination. It covers your pre as well as mains examination, and to find out more about it, all you have to do is download our mobile application. Till 31st August, EMI offer is also running on our old smart courses, so make the most out of this offer. On our table, we have 5 interesting topics. We have so many things to discuss, so let's quickly move on. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my Telegram channel, and you can follow me on Facebook as well. So the first topic is about National Recruitment Agency. Government of India, that is Cabinet, has okayed, or Cabinet has given its green signal to National Recruitment Agency. What NRA is all about? NRA is going to be a body that will conduct a screening examination for non-gazetted jobs. Earlier on, till now, students, they have to give, if you want to appear in railway examination or SSC examination, and if you want to appear in all 3 of them, railway, SSC as well as IBPS, then you have to fill up 3 different forms, 3 different examination centers. You have to visit 3 different times, and but now everything is going to be under one umbrella. That is National Recruitment Agency. This is a welcome administrative reform for sure, because now students will have to fill up just one form. They don't have to take separate examinations, and that's going to be a big thing for students, of course. It will save their money as well, and there are so many other things too associated with this NRA. Like, it will save time, first of all, right? The selection process will become a bit faster. It will mitigate hardships for candidates from appearing in multiple examinations of multiple agencies with similar eligibility conditions. CET to be conducted at over 1,000 centers, right? The CET, that is your sort of entry examination. So this will be conducted at 1,000 centers, and 117 aspirational districts. They will also have at least one examination center in district, and this will give better access for rural unprivileged candidates as well as women. So it's going to be a game changer for sure. All we have to do now is to make sure that things are implemented properly. The things that we find on NRA's book, we need to see it in ground reality. And if we can do that thing, if we can achieve that thing, then this is going to be a game changer. It's going to look after some 1.25 lakh jobs. Normally students appear for various different jobs in various different parts of our country. So we are talking about 2.5 crore aspirants. They will be able to give just one examination, and based on that they will be divided. I think as we move on, we'll find some more articles on this thing, and in near future we'll find some more clarification, like how examination will be conducted, and course and syllabus and so many other things. But so far this is at cabinet level. So after cabinet, it will be tabled in the parliament, and then it will become a law, or then it will become a proper setup. But so far things are moving in right direction. The gains from a single examination when offered to at district level in regional language, as opposed to multiplicity of tests in far fewer locations, are self-evident. It's a matter of common sense, isn't it, that if you have to just appear for one examination, if you can give it in your regional language, if you don't have to travel that far to appear for examination, that is going to make things more simple and easy for the candidate. I'm sure many of you have suffered this thing. I have seen so many students, right, when they have to appear for a particular exam, they have to travel 100, 200 kilometer. They have limited choices. Some of them, they cannot afford hotels, so they have to stay at some ashrams or some other places. They have to, some of them are lucky enough to have relatives in those places, so you can stay at your relative's place. But then as well, not everyone is comfortable with that thing. And traveling a day before your examination or 1 or 2 days before your examination, well, of course, you want to be fresh, you want to be at your peak, but you will feel a little bit tired if you're not used to it, traveling the next day. So this may hamper your performance in examination to a fraction, but still 1 mark or half a mark as well is decider, isn't it, when it comes to competitive exam. So this creating centers, 1,000 centers that will cover aspirational districts as well. So this is a good news for aspirants. Opportunities to improve performance subject to age limits and a 3-year validity for scores are positive features. So your score will be valid for 3 years. That's again a good option. It was also said by our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji during her budget speech. She talked about NRA, and she said that NRA is going to be an independent, professional, specialist organization. One thing that we find in our country is that we have so many vacant posts. There are so many examinations that are conducted, but still we find that we have not achieved that equilibrium. We find so many posts. There are so many people who are looking for a job, but because of this lengthy process and so many other issues, we are not able to fill up these vacancies on time. And when we find vacancies, or when there are vacancies, then this is a loss for an individual who is looking for a job seeker. And it is loss for administration as well as nation indirectly, because if you have, let's say, if you need 10 people and if you are working with just 6 people, then everyone will have extra workload, and that will hamper your performance. It's simple as that. The other issue is with railways. We are going to, railway services will be transferred to private sector, so fewer government jobs will be created here. So that is a question, or that is a matter of concern for so many students and so many people. Recruitment must be marked by well-defined procedures, wide publicity and open competition, besides virtual elimination of discretion. So what we need, or what we expect from NRA, is that it will create its benchmark. It should create its benchmark as a clean, neat, transparent, as well as efficient, as well as effective organization to conduct examination, and this will be win-win for every one of us. So that's everything about NRA. Now let's move on to a very interesting article, but before that, a small request. Could you please make sure that you share this lecture with other students on regular basis, not just today, please? And if you have learned something from today's discussion, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Dear friends, we have a very interesting article from Times of India newspaper. Remember the speech of Prime Minister Narendra Modi from this Red Fort. I'm talking about Independence Day speech. And in this speech, he talked about Make in India for the world. So this indicates that India's aspiration is to become a powerful trading nation. We want to create quality products, competitive manufacturing, and we want to integrate our economy with the world economy. And the reason why we want to do it is because we want to create jobs in our country. We want economical growth of our country. With growth, we would be able to develop our country. With development, we will be able to lift so many people out of poverty. Good school, good hospitals, good roads, faster justice delivery system, and everything. So basically, we want to turn our country into a developed country as quickly as possible and in most ethical way as possible. So there is nothing wrong with it at all. In today's world, one thing is a reality, that if you are economically powerful, if you are a developing or a developed nation, if you are economically powerful with a good present and a promising future, then your weight will be there in global table. Right, when you sit on that table, when you are setting some sort of agenda, may it be climate change, environment, nuclear, whatever it is, right? People will listen to you. The world will listen to you because you are a country who is capable enough. You're a rich country, or you are making money and you are distributing this wealth, using it for betterment, and all those things. And USA is a prime example. USA is not just militarily, from military point of view, it's not just its military that is powerful. If you see USA's products and if you see USA's services, then you find that you find them everywhere, isn't it? iPhone, Android system, then your computers, then your cars, see your drink, right? Coca-Cola, or the packet of wafer that you are eating, chocolate, your coffee. There are so many things that we use on regular basis. You find their roots in USA. USA companies are there everywhere in the world, right? So a robust trading nation is in a better position to set the agenda and influence narratives. In 1817, David Ricardo provided the foolproof argument in support of trade. In this article, you will find this example by David Ricardo. He talked about theory of comparative advantage. I'm going to make it very short and sweet for you guys to understand. If you want to go through that full example, then just go through this article and you will find that example. But briefly, what he said that let's imagine that you have just two countries in the world, right? Let's say one is Portugal and the other one is Great Britain, UK. So both these countries are producing wine and cloth. Let's imagine, right? Now let's say that UK is better in producing cloth compared to Portugal, and Portugal is better in producing wine compared to UK. So the best thing that these two countries can do is UK can stop producing wine and Portugal can stop producing clothes, and UK can sell this cloth items to Portugal and it can buy wine from Portugal, right? So this is just a basic situation, but the world of trade is more complex than that. But what he said is this, where we were here, his theory of comparative advantage says all countries gain from the trade even when one country's workers are more efficient at producing every single product than workers in the other countries. So this exchange, buying and selling things, is beneficial for the whole world. But for this comparative advantage theory to work, what we need is everyone to play by the book. That means everyone should stick with rules and regulations of international trade. Unfortunately, we have so many countries, for example China, they don't follow rule books. What they do is they create their own ways of doing things, like massive subsidies. Now just observe here, I have one fact for you, that for solar panels alone, China used to give an annual subsidy exceeding $15 billion annual subsidy. That is huge. So how it works, let's say solar panel producer of China, right? If he produces one sheet of solar panel or a panel, it will cost him, let's say, 100 rupees per panel, right? This is his cost price. So what Chinese government will do is Chinese government will give him 20 rupees subsidy. That if you produce one panel, Chinese government will give you 20 rupees. That's a subsidy. So what's your actual cost now? Your production cost is 100, and then you minus the subsidy. So for you this one panel cost is 80 rupees, isn't it, per panel? Now in India, if we produce one panel, let's say, then it will cost 100 rupees. There is no subsidy on it. So this is your cost price, your production price, and then you want to add profit on it, and then you will say, let's say 105 rupees is your selling price. So you make 5 rupees if you sell one panel. This Chinese company, it can sell this panel for 95 rupees. It can sell this panel for 100 rupees, then as well it's going to be cheaper compared to the Indian producer. So people are going to buy this panel because it is cheap and good quality compared to this expensive panel of India. So what will happen is that Indian companies will die, right? They cannot survive. So once they are wiped out, Chinese companies, what they will do, they will get bigger and bigger because now they are getting more orders from various different parts of the world. They're destroying competitors, and now you find Chinese panels everywhere. So what they can do is, because they know now that they are producing things for, let's say, 10, 15, 20 countries, they can set up their big factory. Chinese government will give them loan and other things, and they can set up their big factories, and they can produce things in masses, in big quantity. So cost price and everything will come down. And then gradually Chinese government will reduce this 20 rupees. This subsidy will be reduced to 15 and 10 and 5 and then nothing. But by then you will have no competitor, and then you can increase the price as well of your solar panel. So this is how they do business, or they have played this dirty game for a very long period of time. So one is massive subsidies. Second is intellectual property theft. Very, yes, we were talking about this thing 2 days ago, remember? This French example I gave you, we discussed this article by Ritu Kumar on textile industry. So they copied ways of doing things, and then they started producing cheap things. Or what they do is, if you want to sell some iPhone or some technological products in China, once they have that thing, they will open it, they will study it, they will create a duplicate version or replica of that thing, and they will sell it, and they will give you competition, and they will make money out of it as well. And many times they use this free trade agreement route. So we have free trade agreement with ASEAN, India, ASEAN. Free trade means no import duties will be applied on things coming from ASEAN to India, and same thing applies to India to ASEAN as well. Now ASEAN, they have a free trade agreement with China. So what China will do is, China will set up its factory in Indonesia, right? So this Chinese factory will be working in Indonesia. Things will be provided here in Indonesia. They will do a little bit of packing and value addition, and then this thing will be sold to India under this free trade agreement. So it's not directly, China is not selling us, it is sending goods via Indonesia. So that's how they have been playing. So what we need to do, what are the ways in front of us that we can do so that we can create our own benchmark, create our own place? So here the writer is suggesting 4 things. First one is reduce input costs, reduce your production cost. For that you need speed. For that you need loans at cheaper rate. For that you need lower duties on raw material. But we have higher duties on raw material. We have expensive credit, erratic power supply, 24/7, 365 days. Cheap power supply is not available in all factories in all areas of our country. Time taken lending transactions, time taking land transactions, and then you have this transportation. It takes 1 day in Bangladesh as well as China to transport their goods from production or from factory to port. It takes more than 1 week in our country for a product to reach a port from a factory. So time, then less productivity of our labor lot. All these things, right? We need to work on these things. So deep reforms are required. Second thing, quality. We have to create a brand value of our country, that if you, let's say, visit Oxford Street in London, or maybe Times Square in New York, and if you buy anything, maybe if you are buying a pen or if you are buying a jacket, it doesn't matter. If you buy something, and if in that thing, if you find this made in India written, then you should know that this is going to be a good quality product. We have to create this level of precision and quality control. If we can create quality products at a reasonable rate, then the world is ours. Then expand manufacturing and trade of the products the world buys the most. Electronic gadgets, organic chemicals, machinery, clothes, telecom. These are the things that everyone buys. So we need to create this sort of products in our country, good quality products. And when it comes to these things, what do we say, manufacturing or assembly, right? We don't want to become an assembly hub that we buy finished screens. We buy screens, and then you buy buttons, and then you buy chargers, and then you assemble everything. You get battery from somewhere else. This assembling is okay, but assembling is not going to give you that experience, that cutting edge. We need to produce these components in our country. Fourth is avoid critical dependence on any country. If we are buying 70% of our APIs from China, then we need to get rid of it. If we are buying power equipments from China, then we need to get rid of it. If we are buying goods and defense products from various different countries, then we have to create environment in our country that we can we produce things for not only us, for other people as well. And to do all these things, we don't just need economists and bureaucrats. We need to rope in business and technology experts as well. If we can do this thing, if we can achieve all these 4 points, then agriculture, manufacturing, technology, logistics, education, and all other sectors will flourish, and our country will flourish as well. Now, talking about this marriage age misconception. This was declared by Prime Minister from the Red Fort. He said that the government has set up one committee. This committee is looking into this topic, that whether we need to raise the age of legal marriage of girls or women in our country. People say that government is thinking to increase. At present, the legal age is 18. The government wants to increase it to 21. Right, and the reason why the government is doing it is because if the government believes that if we raise the age of marriage for girls, then it will improve their health, and it will improve their nutritional status as well. All of the sudden, magic stick, right? That if you are, let's say if you are 18, if you are a girl, if you are 18, if you are malnourished, or if you have some sort of deficiencies in terms of minerals and vitamins, and then tomorrow government will say that, okay, the marriage age is now 21. So if you marry after, let's say, 3 years, then your nutrition level will be perfect. Your vitamins deficiency and everything will be gone, because the government has raised the age of marriage. Sounds logical? No, it doesn't, isn't it? So the question is, from where this belief is coming? It came from this sort of reports, right? No disrespect, these people are very learned people, and the Lancet is a very famous journal as well. So a paper was published by all these writers, and it goes by the name Child and Adolescent Health. This article analyzes data on stunting in children and thinness in mothers as measures of undernourishment in the latest round of National Family Health Survey for 2015-16. The authors examine the strength of the association between many different causal factors: the mother's age of childbearing, her educational level, living conditions, health conditions, decision-making powers, and so on, and the health status of mother and child. But one thing that this article has missed, when I say this article, I'm talking about this Lancet's paper that has missed one thing, is poverty. Poverty is the mother of all ills. You might have heard about it. Because of poverty, what happens is, when a family is poor, it cannot afford good education. It cannot afford television. So there are so many things that you will not know. You have less tools in your hand for learning. It cannot afford good health. The reason is, you don't get proper food. When you don't get proper food, you are going to find deficiencies, and then it will lead to health problems in your elder age, right? Then you have to work extra hard, so that will take a toll on your body. That will affect your social life. It will affect your personal life. It will affect everything. So poverty is the main culprit here. But unfortunately, government is, I don't know why, indulging in this thing to increase the age limit of girls. I'm not Not saying that government should not do it. I want you guys to think about it. That is it going to make any change? Forget about the age of marriage. Focus on the main aim of government here. The government believes that simply raising the age of marriage is the best way to improve the health and nutritional status of mothers and their infants. This is not possible. For that, what you have to do is you have to provide quality food, breakfast as well as lunch to all those girls who are going to schools. Right? If there is a day off, then make sure that we have some sort of arrangements when this tiffins or takeaway food is delivered to this girl's house. When it comes to women, providing them fortified food, making sure that they are getting all that necessary things during their pregnancy or before pregnancy. So education, but before that, I would say we need to get rid of poverty. And for that, we cannot, let's say if you cannot get rid of poverty all of a sudden, then what you can do is at least provide good quality of food and nutrition and fortified items to girls and women. And this is something that will improve their health quality. Right? And here, raising the age limit, raising the age at marriage by amending the law is costless. The reason why government is doing is that if you just set up a committee and this committee will give you a report, if you say this is okay, then this is not going to cost anything, isn't it? It will create a positive image, but it will cost nothing to the government. So this is something that government should drop. This is not that good idea. That's what I think. If you want to, again, the reason I'm saying it's not a good idea, I'm saying it from health and nutritional status point of view. Marriage age, it's very personal as well as it's very cultural. So if we can give vote at 18, if we can get driving license at 18, then why not marriage at 18? And why we have this difference between a boy and a girl? Like, you have any scientific reason? If you means I don't want to go too much into it, or else I will talk for next 10-15 minutes on this thing. But I will leave it on you guys to think about it, right? About marriage age, I want you guys to think. And about this malnutrition and this thing, already we know that what we need to do. Yesterday we were talking about S.Y. Qureshi. Remember when we were talking about this Sri Lankan elections? And today we have one article, luckily, from S.Y. Qureshi himself. This article is printed in today's Indian Express newspaper. So, Election Commission is going to go ahead with November election. Bihar legislative election for 243 member is going to take place in November 2020. And this is a good thing because, it's been ages since this lockdown, and now 34 countries have so far conducted National Assembly or presidential elections during COVID-19. Yesterday we were talking about Sri Lanka. As far as I remember, South Korea was the first country. I know about South Korea that during this coronavirus pandemic, when it was expanding at that point of time as well, South Korea conducted its presidential election. Of course, Election Commission has come up with its own set of rules, like reduction of the number of electors per polling booth. So early on it used to be 1,500, but now it's reduced to 1,000. There are going to be temporary or auxiliary polling stations, 33,797. COVID-sensitive capacity building of election officials and counting tables have been reduced to 7 per assembly constituency from 14. Opposition parties are not sure about voter turnout, but Election Commission has done everything it can do, like providing this postal ballot option to COVID-19 patients, persons with disability, as well as voters in essential services. I want you guys to remember this thing called SWEEP. It stands for Systematic Voter Education for Electoral Participation. It's a program and technological facilities to ensure voter education and mobilization. So because of this, I won't say lockdown, but because of this social distancing norm, more parties are going to go ahead with the digital campaigning. Facebook, social media campaigning, digital campaigning is going to be quite visible in Bihar's election. But it's not a magic wand, or it's not a thing, it's not 100% widespread. You need your traditional way of doing things as well, like bike rallies and cars, and I'm sure Election Commission will provide this sort of permissions too. But we are going to see a bigger role of digital campaign this time. Because internet penetration in Bihar is not that great, so traditional ways will be followed as well. Smartphone, if you see, 27% phone users are smartphone users. So this is the thing. But the problem is with big and small political parties, like party like BJP, like Congress and other big parties. They can afford to spend crores and crores after social media campaigns and digital campaigns, but regional parties, small parties, they won't be able to do that thing. Other than social media funding, the big problem is fake news and hate propaganda. So Election Commission has to keep an eye on this fake as well as hate propaganda. Last time when Delhi election took place, Kapil Mishra, BJP leader, he tweeted something very really communal. So this was removed, and an FIR was registered against him as well. So not Supreme Court, but Election Commission did very well here. And we know we were talking about this Facebook and Wall Street Journal report. So this is going to be a big challenge for this Election Commission, because if social media platforms are favoring a particular political party, then that is going to be a big trouble for Election Commission of India. A big challenge, I would say. But so far, Election Commission of India has executed elections in more challenging environment, where you have Naxal problem and other things. But then as well, it has been successful. So I strongly believe that things are going to be in right direction. Last one, saving a tree. This article is very interesting. The thing is, there was one tree. In fact, there is a tree, and this tree was uprooted during a storm in Goa. So people, people around this tree, or local people as well as other peoples, like one person, he traveled from Hyderabad to Goa just to help this tree. So what people have done is, they have again, together what they have done is, they have again planted this tree in its place. It was uprooted. People thought that it is gone, it's dead now, but no. They planted this tree again, and this tree is alive now. So this is, we are talking about 200-year-old tree, and you can imagine the size, and it's an ecosystem in itself. You find a snake living there, a bull taking rest underneath its shadow, insects, birds, animals, and so many other living creatures are dependent on this particular tree. So this is not just one of example of a tree, or it's interesting. Like people from various different parts of the world, they provided funds for this tree, and this whole act has united people. So this tree is not an individual tree anymore, it is part of the community. And this is a ray of hope for every one of us, that if together, if we work together for one purpose, to protect our planet, then we can achieve it. We have enormous capacity. Our potential is quite higher than what we think of ourselves. So from that point of view, from climate change point of view, from achieving sustainable development point of view, if people work together, then yes, we can achieve it. And that's everything. Today's discussion, these are your news items, dear friends. Help yourself with it. The PDF is already available on my Telegram channel, and I will see you soon. God bless you all. Jai Hind.